Welcome back, fifth graders. Mr. Greenfield here again. Today, we're going to review what we worked on yesterday with trying to be able to calculate and identify the mean, median, mode, and range of a set of data. So yesterday, you made this foldable, and you went through and have it as a resource. So I want you to keep this handy today, because when you're working on your assignment, you're going to be able to go through and use this as a resource. If you can't remember how to find the median or the mode or the mean, you can use this available. But we're going to review some of that here first. So if we look at yesterday, we talked about the mean, and we talked about how it's also called the average or a leveling of numbers. And I had you write down in your foldable the steps. And if you remember from yesterday, you can check your foldable and make sure you have these steps. That the first thing you're going to do is take that set of numbers and you're going to add them all together and get a grand total. Whatever that total is, the second step, you're going to take that total, you're going to divide that total by the number of pieces of data. So if you have a set of 6 numbers, you're going to be dividing by 6. If there's 3 numbers in your set, you're going to be dividing by 3. So that's a quick review of the mean. If we look at how to do that, here's an example. So our set of data has 8 numbers in it because for 8 days, Geneva recorded the following number of visitors at the school's website. So on the first day, we had 4 visitors, 2 visitors, and so on. So of all these numbers, we're going to add them all up. So when we add them all up, you can always use your handy dandy calculator, or if you have a calculator on your phone, you can do that. So if we add all these up, we get a grand total of 48. So then we're going to divide that 48 by the number of pieces of data we have. We have 8 different pieces of data, so we're going to divide by 8. So our mean or average would be 6 in this case. So once again, we add all the numbers in our set of data and we divide by how many different pieces of data we have. If you remember yesterday in your foldable, we talked about the median. That's your middle number. So if we have a large set of data, we're going to first put them in order from smallest to largest. Once we've done that, we're going to start with the first number and the last number, or the smallest number and the largest number, and we're going to keep crossing them off until we get towards the middle. Now, sometimes we have a number exactly in the middle because our set of data might be 7. So we have that number right smack dab in the middle. But our last example, we had 8 numbers in it. So you're going to actually have 2 numbers in the middle. And if there's 2 numbers in the middle, you find the mean. Or in other words, you're going to add those 2 numbers together and divide by 2. So here's an example of that. We had that same data set with Geneva recording the visits to the website. So if she's being asked to find the median or middle number, she's going to put them all in order. So we did that. Started with the smallest number, ended with the largest number. Then we're going to cross out the first number and the last number, and then the second smallest, the second largest, third, and so forth until we have our middle value. In this case, we have 2 numbers in the middle. We have 5 and 6. So if that's the case, we have to think of, well, what comes between 5 and 6? Well, 5.5, or 5 and 5/10. If we work it out on our calculator, we're going to add these 2 numbers together, get 11, and divide it by 2, which is going to be 5.5, or 5 and 5/10, if we work that out that way. The other examples we've looked at are mode. Now, to find the mode, if you remember what the mode is, that's the number that occurs most often in our set of data. So we're looking for numbers that repeat or that occur the same amount of times. Sometimes there isn't going to be a mode. Maybe every number occurs only one time in our set of data. And there's other times where we might have more than one mode. We might have certain numbers repeat and another set of numbers repeat, and we'll have 2 modes or 3 modes. So it all depends on your set of data. So if we look at our example here that we had in our first problem, which number occurs the most? Well, if we put them in order from smallest to largest, we can see we have 4 occurring twice. So if we look at that, 4 would be our mode because no other number occurs more than one time. So the number that occurs the most in this case would be 4. The range. If you remember from yesterday, whoa, excuse me, I didn't mean for that to jump. Very sensitive smartboard here today, I guess. The range is the difference between the largest and the smallest. And if you remember from yesterday, we talked about difference meaning subtraction. So if we look at these, we put them in order from smallest to largest. Our smallest number would be 2 and our largest number would be 10. So we'd find the difference between those two or subtract them. We would take 10 and subtract 2, and our range, the difference between the two would be 8. So today on your assignment, you're going to be asked to practice these. And if you get stuck and you forget how to find those, refer to your foldable from yesterday to kind of give you some guidance. So we have to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range of this set of data. Now you can work them out in order, or some kids like to look at and try to find the ones that they find simpler first, like the range, where you're just subtracting the largest and the smallest. So if I look at this set of data, my largest number is 20. My smallest number is 12. So I'm going to take 20 and subtract 12, and my range is going to be 8. Okay, for mode, or occurs most often, I'm looking for numbers that repeat. I got 12, 17, 20, 17 again, 13, and 13 again. So I have 2 numbers that repeat twice. I have 13 and I have 17. Both of those repeat more than once. So we'd actually have 2 modes in this set of data. So we have 2 modes in there. And like I said, sometimes you might have 1 mode, you might have 2 modes. Sometimes you might not have a mode at all. Median, middle value. Remember, we need to take and put those numbers in order from smallest to largest. And 20. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of data. I like to make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, make sure I have the same amount. Sometimes when you have a large set of data and you're writing it down in order, you may accidentally forget one. Now I'm going to fix this because I don't like that they're not all in the same line. And sometimes it's easy to make a mistake when you're doing that. So you're going to want to put it where you have a little bit more room. Sometimes you might want to use a separate piece of paper or a whiteboard when you're doing this. And if you remember, we're going to take off the smallest and largest, the next smallest, next largest, and then we have 2 in the middle. So if we have 2 in the middle, what we're going to be looking at is adding these 2 together. And then we're going to take that number and find the mean and divide it by 2, which is going to get us 15, or that middle value. So we have to find the middle of those 2. Now the mean, that one, I'm going to probably want to use my calculator here because, as you can see, we have a large amount of numbers that we're going to add up. Okay, and when I add these all up, I got 92. Okay? So now I'm going to take my total and I'm going to divide it by the number in the set of data. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers in my data set, so I'm going to divide by 6. And that's going to get me 15. And a repeating decimal, 15 decimal point 3333333. In our case, we're just going to round to the nearest tenth. We're going to round to the tenths place. So 15 and 3/10 is going to be our mean in that case. Now today, for your assignment on your bundle, it's going to, that's a little bit dark here. I'm sorry about that, boys and girls. It doesn't show up very well with my dot cam. But we're going to be asking you some real world situations here. We're talking about hockey season. The Blue Jackets scored the following number of goals in each game. So we have all the games and the amount of goals listed. So using your foldable as a guide, you're going to find the mode, the range, the mean, and the median. As you work through it, here it says there's several messages on Sophia's phone for the week. Find the landmarks for that set of data. So it tells you how many messages each day of the week. Once again, you're going to find the mode, the range, the mean, and the median as you go through that. Thank you, fifth graders. And if you have any questions, let me know.